Hornets.
Draft is next
9
week.
days away.
That's right.
For the draft
On Thursday.
They have 5 picks in the draft. So Hornets, you got at least somebody. One of these has to hit.
At least 2.
One of these.
I'm hoping at least 2.
Like, please don't Frank Kaminsky this. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh.
Like, please don't. What's the guy's name from Gonzaga that they drafted that one time when it was the Bobcats? Don't.
Is that Morrison?
Don't Adam Morrison this. Don't Frank Kaminsky this. Like, let's get a good pick out of this. Okay. Now, here's something that could potentially happen. If you know about, we'll tell you about the top 3 draft prospects, right? You have Victor Wembanyama.
That's a lock number 1.
He's going to go number 1 to the Spurs. You also have Brandon Miller, who is out of Alabama. You also have Scoot Henderson, who played for the G League Ignite, right? So he was basically a professional this past year, played in the G League. Now, one thing that says about where basketball is, and we'll get further into this later on, is that the top 3 prospects all have 3 different paths in getting there. One overseas, one locally here domestically as a pro, and the other basically as a college athlete. But with Victor Wembanyama being a lock pretty much to the Spurs.
No, not pretty much. It is a lock.
You have Brandon Miller and you have Scoot Henderson that are left, right? The New Orleans Pelicans really, really want Scoot Henderson very badly.
Okay.
They want to pair him up with Zion Williamson and all of their younger stars that are out there. They think he's going to be a great fit in their team to take them to the future.
Okay.
But they only pick at number 12.
Okay.
Scoot Henderson will be gone by number 3.
Oh, yeah, at the latest.
Second is the Hornets picking second, and then you have the Portland Trail Blazers who are picking third, right? Okay, so what do the Pelicans need to do? They need to potentially trade up. Here's where the Hornets get involved, right?
Okay.
Because if you trade up with the Trailblazers, who's to say you're going to get Scoot Henderson? The Hornets could
draft him.
And then the Trailblazers, they may not be interested in trading because they either may want to trade Damian Lillard, their star, or get their star of the future with that third pick, or a star to pair with Damian Lillard at that third pick. There's no incentive for them to move. But for the Charlotte Hornets, there is an incentive to potentially move. Why? Because you're looking at, if you move from second to number 12, in exchange, instead of mortgaging, or I wouldn't say mortgaging your future, but placing your future on the back of this potential number 2 overall pick, you can have somebody who you know what you're getting out of him. That is Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
Kinston native.
Yes.
Went to Duke, has had a pretty decent NBA career, known as a scorer, all-around player. Has had some injury issues.
Very much
But
so.
if you have him paired with LaMelo Ball, they're talking about potentially getting Miles Bridges back, who missed this past year because of the domestic violence assault case that was against him. But if you get Miles Bridges back because you have his bird rights, get him on a cheaper deal, along with trying to get back P.J. Washington, all of a sudden, the Charlotte Hornets, with the right bench, could potentially be one of those fringe playoff teams and potentially go further, because now you're building a pretty good team around LaMelo Ball that only thing he has to do is just get it to his scores. And that is a real possibility for the Charlotte Hornets. So, Dennis, if you're Mitch Kupchak, is this something that you seriously consider?
Absolutely.
Seriously, because you don't know Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller, they are good prospects, but we don't know what they'll be in the NBA.
You don't know.
You know what Brandon Ingram is, though, right now.
Well, you know what? He's 25 going on 26. He's been in the league for 8 years. He's 25 going on.
When you put it like that, man, it's crazy.
Because his rookie season was 2016, 2017 with the Lakers. Now, here's the thing. You also know what you're getting. You're getting a guy who's been hurt a lot. He's only played over 60 games just 3 times. He did his rookie year, played 79. 2019, 2020, he played 62. Again, that season was cut short because of COVID. 2020, 2021, 61 games. This past season, he only played in 45. Now, with New Orleans, he's averaging just over 23 points per game in the last 4 seasons during the Orleans. So you know this dude could score. And you're also looking at a guy averaging 5+ rebounds a game, looking at 5+ assists. Okay, not many 23 5-5 players out there in the NBA right now.
And honestly, that's probably what the Hornets are missing.
Yeah.
That consistent scorer.
Are you sure you're not getting Gordon Hayward 2.0? That's the big question. Are you getting Gordon Hayward 2.0? Because Gordon Hayward was a scorer wing guy, but guess what? The last 3 years has been banged up and hurt. And that's what's hurt the Charlotte Hornets is because they haven't had that guy, or he's not been available to them.
Here's the difference I would say with the Gordon Hayward move versus Brandon Ingram. Mm-hmm. I felt like Gordon Hayward was brought in simply to try to attract bigger stars to Charlotte, and it didn't work. Also, you're getting a guy that, yes, came in with a history of injuries. You knew that. But he was also a guy that you could have there as a veteran presence to help guide your young stars.
Sure.
And Miles Bridges, P.J. Washington, all those other guys.
Now, when they brought in Gordon Hayward, he was about 4 years or so older than what Ingram is right now. Because Hayward's he's 33 right now.
Facts. So now that Gordon Hayward has been there to help guide those guys, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Right? P.J. knows what he's doing if you can bring P.J. Washington back. LaMelo Ball knows what he's doing. If you bring back Miles Bridges knows what he's doing. If he can stay out of trouble off the court, you have a core there that you could do something with. But the problem is between the three that I just mentioned, like, you can probably get about like 18 out of Miles Bridges. You know that LaMelo Ball is good for about 18 and maybe like 7 or 8 assists. You know that P.J. Washington is probably good for about 14 or 15. You don't have that consistent over 20-point score. Mm-hmm. And that's what Brandon Ingram can give you right now. And for a Charlotte Hornets franchise that hasn't done much as far as winning in the postseason, you might be able to, in an easier Eastern Conference, you might be able to back into the playoffs and maybe win a series or two with that squad. Maybe build with this squad.
Honestly, so it really comes down to is this. Who would you rather draft at number 2? Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson, or the current iteration of Brandon Ingram? Who would you rather take? Who would you rather spend your second pick on?
If you're the Hornets and you absolutely need Scoot Henderson, then I'm starting to question, what do you think about LaMelo Ball? Because they're both point guards. So that's one. Mm-hmm. But if you need Scoot Henderson, that means that you don't need to trade the pick.
Yeah.
But if they're thinking, because Brandon Miller is working out with the Hornets today in a private workout, if you get Brandon Miller, if you're looking at a guy like that, 6'9", 6'10" wing, that's exactly what Brandon Ingram is. And you said he's been in the NBA for what, 8 years, 7, 8 years? You said
8 years now.
8 years? Then if you're interested in that, you might as well go with the veteran. If you're trying to win right now, because you already have LaMelo Ball. Mm-hmm. You already have, if you bring back P.J. Washington, you have him. If you bring back Miles Bridges, you have him. Might as well go with the veteran.